You pulled up to the pump this week. The number on the screen stopped you. The national average for a gallon of regular gas just crossed $4. That has not happened since August 2022. 1 month ago, that same gallon cost $2.98. That is a 35% increase in only 30 days, the largest monthly jump in gasoline prices since the Consumer Price Index was first published in 1967. This is not a seasonal fluctuation. Something structural shifted. In this video, I break exactly what changed, who is paying the most, and what comes next. The price of every gallon of gas is made of 4 components. Think of them as layers inside a barrel. The biggest layer is crude oil. It makes up roughly half the cost per gallon. Even though America is the largest oil producer on the planet, crude is priced globally. A conflict in the Middle East, 9,000 miles away, moves the number on your pump directly. The second layer is refining. Raw crude has to be processed into gasoline. That costs about 22 cents of every dollar. Refinery capacity is tight. It does not flex quickly. Then come taxes. Federal, state, and local taxes add about 15%. These do not change with oil prices. They are fixed, but they differ dramatically between states. The last layer, distribution and retail margin, roughly 13%. The gas has to move from refinery to station. That cost is also fuel dependent, so when oil rises, this rises too. Even across the US, prices are not uniform. They never are. But right now, the gap is stark. Oklahoma sits at $3.5 while California is just under $6. That is a $2.5 gap per gallon of regular gas. Why? 3 forces drive the difference. First, state tax. California's gas tax is among the highest in the nation. Oklahoma's is among the lowest. Second, refinery location. States close to the Gulf Coast like Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma sit near about half of all US refining capacity. Shorter pipeline distance means lower distribution costs. And third, blend requirements. California mandates special reformulated gasoline that is more expensive to produce. The entire price shock traces back to one waterway, only 21 miles wide, the Strait of Hormuz. Before February 2026, roughly 20% of all globally traded oil passed through it every single day, about 20 million barrels every single day. On February 28th, after US and Israeli strikes on Iran, the strait effectively closed. What happens next? Even with the ceasefire in place since April 17th, the strait remains mostly blocked. There is no clear path to reopening. Talks are at a standstill. One top oil analyst put it plainly: even if the strait opens tomorrow, the next few months will be an ongoing, absolute disaster. The pre-war tankers that left the Gulf are only now reaching their destinations. The real shortage is just starting. Gas prices at the pump are the number everyone sees, but the same oil shock will have broader consequences. Here are 3. Aviation. United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby said on April 22nd that summer fares may rise 15 to 20% to offset a $340 million increase in fuel costs. Yields need to increase by about 15 to 20%, as quickly as possible, he told CNBC. Every major US airline has already raised baggage fees. Delta estimates a 1-cent rise in jet fuel costs it $40 million annually. Budget carriers like Spirit Airlines are in the most precarious position. Trucking, diesel averaged $5.43 nationally as of early April, up 50% from 1 year ago. Nearly every physical good in the US moves by truck at some point. Higher diesel directly inflates the cost of groceries, hardware, and consumer goods. In Arizona, diesel costs have risen 66% year over year. This is not an energy story, it is a cost of living story. Agriculture. The Persian Gulf supplies 30 to 35% of globally traded fertilizer. The Hormuz closure is cutting that supply chain simultaneously. Global fertilizer prices are projected to rise 15 to 20% in the first half of 2026. That pressure feeds forward into food prices, potentially into 2027 and beyond. And this is how a narrow waterway is now simultaneously pricing your summer vacation, your weekly groceries, and your commute. The global energy system is complex. Your understanding of it doesn't have to be. Subscribe to learn something new every week.